alpha x DOF/2 equals 4 alpha DOF, where DOF is the depth of focus. 76. For a depth of focus of 100 nm, a small local deviation from flatness of 2.5 rad, 0.14 degrees, can lead to a pattern shift of 1 nm. Slit position dependence. Illumination rotation across ring field slit. Light reflected from curved optical surfaces will generate arc segments. 77. The illumination angles are rotated azimuthally across the arc-shaped slit, right, due to the reflection of an arc-shaped image from each pupil position as a point source, left. 78, 79. The angle-dependent and wavelength-dependent multilayer reflectance distribution pattern is rotated accordingly. The direction of illumination is also highly dependent on slit position, essentially rotated azimuthally. 80, 81, 34, 82, 83, 84. Nanotechnology and synopsis found that horizontal versus vertical bias changed across slit with dipole illumination. 85. The rotating plane of incidence, azimuthal range within -25 degrees to 25 degrees, is confirmed in the sharp actinic review microscope at CXRO, which mimics the optics for EUV projection lithography systems. 86. The reason for this is a mirror is used to transform straight rectangular fields into arc-shaped fields. 87, 88. In order to preserve a fixed plane of incidence, the reflection from the previous mirror would be from a different angle with surface for a different slit position. This causes non-uniformity or reflectivity. To preserve uniformity, rotational symmetry with a rotating plane of incidence is used. 89. More generally, so-called ring field systems reduce aberrations by relying on the rotational symmetry of an arc-shaped field derived from an off-axis annulus. 90. This is preferred, as reflective systems must use off-axis paths, which aggravate aberrations. Hence, identical die patterns within different halves of the arc-shaped slit will require different OPC. This renders them uninspectable by die-to-die comparison, as they are no longer truly identical dies. For pitches requiring dipole, quadrupole, or hexapole illumination, the rotation also causes mismatch with the same pattern layout at a different slit position. I.e. edge versus center. Even with annular or circular illumination, the rotational symmetry is destroyed by the angle-dependent multilayer reflectance described above. Although the azimuthal angle range is /20 degree, 91, NXE 3400, 92, field data indicate 18.2 degree, 93, on 0.33 NA scanners, at 7 nm design rules, 36 to 40 nm pitch. The tolerance for illumination can be /15 degree, 94, 95, or even less. 96, 97, 92. Annular illumination non-uniformity and asymmetry also significantly impact the imaging. 98. The larger incident angle for pitch-dependent dipole illumination trend across slit does not affect horizontal line shadowing so much, but vertical line shadowing does increase. Going from center to edge. 99. In addition, higher NA systems may offer limited relief from shadowing, as they target tie pitches. 99. The slit position dependence is particularly difficult for the tilted patterns encountered in drum. 83. Besides the more complicated effects due to shadowing and pupil rotation, tilted edges are converted to stair shape, which may be distorted by OPC. In fact, the 32 nm pitch drum by EUV will lengthen up to at least 9 f2 cell area, where f equals active area half pitch. Traditionally, it had been 6 f2. 85. With a 2D self-aligned double patterning active area cut, the cell area is still lower at 8.9 f2. 100. Horizontal and vertical lines exhibit different shadowing across the slit. Aberrations, originating from deviations of optical surfaces from subatomic and LT0.1 nm specifications, 101, as well as thermal deformations, 102, 103, and possibly including polarized reflectance effects, 104, are also dependent on slit position, 105, 103, as will be further discussed below, with regard to source mask optimization, SMO. The thermally induced aberrations are expected to exhibit differences among different positions across the slit, corresponding to different field positions, as each position encounters different parts of the deformed mirrors. 106. Ironically, the use of substrate materials with high thermal and mechanical stability make it more difficult to compensate wavefront errors. 107. In combination with the range of wavelengths, the rotated plane of incidence aggravates the already severe stochastic impact on EUV imaging. 108. Wavelength bandwidth, chromatic aberration. Image shift due to defocus depends on wavelength. The angular dependence of multilayer reflectance of the object, mask, is different for different wavelengths, leading to different shifts when defocused. Unlike DUV lithography sources, based on excimer lasers, EUV plasma sources produce light across a broad range of wavelengths. 109. Though the EUV spectrum is not completely monochromatic, nor even as spectrally pure as DUV laser sources, the working wavelength has generally been taken to be 13.5 nm. In actuality, their reflected power is distributed mostly in the 13.3-13.7 nm range. 110. The bandwidth of EUV light reflected by a multilayer mirror used for EUV lithography is over and /2%, and GT 270 pm, winking sad smiley 111. The phase changes due to wavelength changes at a given illumination angle may be calculated. 112. And compared to the aberration budget. 113. Wavelength dependence of reflectance, 112, 110, also affects the podization, or illumination distribution across the pupil, for different angles. Different wavelengths effectively see different illuminations as they are reflected differently by the multilayer of the mask. 114, 110. This effective source illumination tilt can lead to large image shifts due to defocus. 115. Conversely, the peak reflected wavelength varies across the pupil due to different incident angles. 110, 116. This is aggravated when the angles span a wide radius, for example, annular illumination. The peak reflectance wavelength increases for smaller incident angles. 117. Aperiodic multilayers have been proposed to reduce the sensitivity at the cost of lower reflectivity but are too sensitive to random fluctuations of layer thicknesses, such as from thickness control imprecision or interdiffusion. 118. In particular, defocused denselines at pitches up to twice the minimum resolvable pitch suffer wavelength-dependent edge shifts. 119. A narrower bandwidth would increase sensitivity to mask absorber and buffer thickness on the 1 nm scale. 120, 121. Flare. Flare is the presence of background light originating from scattering off of surface features which are not resolved by the light. In EUV systems, this light can be EUV or out-of-band, OB, light that is also produced by the EUV source. The OB light adds the complication of affecting the resist exposure in ways other than accounted for by the EUV exposure. OB light exposure may be alleviated by a layer coated above the resist, as well as black border features on the EUV mask. 122. However, the layer coating inevitably absorbs EUV light, and the black border adds EUV mask processing cost. Line tip effects. A key challenge for EUV is the counterscaling behavior of the line tip to tip. T2T, distance as half pitch, HP, is scaled down. 96. This is in part due to lower image contrast for the binary masks used in EUV lithography, which is not encountered with the use of phase shift masks in immersion lithography. 123, 124. The rounding of the corners of the line end leads to line end shortening. 125, and this is worse for binary masks. 126. The use of phase shift masks in EUV lithography has been studied, but encounters difficulties from phase control in thin layers. 127, as well as the bandwidth of the EUV light itself. 128. More conventionally, optical proximity correction, OPC, is used to address the corner rounding and line end shortening. In spite of this, it has been shown that the tip-to-tip resolution and the line tip printability are traded off against each other, being effectively CDS of opposite polarity. 129. In unidirectional metal layers, tip-to-tip spacing is one of the more severe issues for single exposure patterning. For the 40 nm pitch vertical lines, an 18 nm nominal tip-to-tip drawn gap resulted in an actual tip-to-tip distance of 29 nm with OPC, optical proximity correction, 96, while for 32 nm pitch horizontal lines, the tip-to-tip distance with a 14 nm nominal gap went to 31 nm with OPC. 130. These actual tip-to-tip distances define a lower limit of the half pitch of the metal running in the direction perpendicular to the tip. In this case, the lower limit is around 30 nm. With further optimization of the illumination, discussed in the section on source mask optimization, the lower limit can be further reduced to around 25 nm. 131. For larger pitches, where conventional illumination can be used, the line tip-to-tip distance is generally larger. For the 24 nm half-pitch lines, with a 20 nm nominally drawn gap, the distance was actually 45 nm, while for 32 nm half-pitch lines, the same nominal gap resulted in a tip-to-tip distance of 34 nm. 130, with OPC. These become 39 nm and 28 nm for 24 nm half-pitch and 32 nm half-pitch respectively. 132. Enhancement opportunities for EUV patterning. Assist features. Assist feature OPC. Assist features help improve image of isolated features, blue, to be more like dense features, gray. However, the more effective they are, the greater the risk that the assist feature will print, orange. Assist features are often used to help balance asymmetry from non-telecentricity at different slit positions, due to different illumination angles, starting at the 7 node, 133, 134, where the pitch is ~41 nm for a wavelength ~13.5 nm and NA equals 0.33, corresponding to K1 0.5. 135. However, the asymmetry is reduced but not eliminated, since the assist features mainly enhance the highest spatial frequencies, whereas intermediate spatial frequencies, which also affect feature focus and position, are not much affected. The coupling between the primary image and self-images is too strong for the asymmetry to be eliminated by assist features. Only asymmetric illumination can achieve this. 58. Assist features may also get in few of access to power forward/ground rails. Power rails are expected to be wider, which also limits the effectiveness of using assist features. By constraining the local pitch. Local pitches between 1x and 2x, the minimum pitch for bit assist feature placement, as there is simply no room to preserve the local pitch symmetry. In fact, for the application to the 2-bar asymmetry case, the optimum assist feature placement may be less than or exceed the 2-bar pitch. 134, depending on the parameter to be optimized: process window area, depth of focus, exposure latitude. The optimum assist feature configuration can be very different. For example, pitch between assist feature and bar being different from 2-bar pitch, symmetric or asymmetric, etc. At pitches smaller than 58 nm, there is a trade-off between depth of focus enhancement and contrast loss by assist feature placement. 134. Generally, there is still a focus exposure trade-off, as the dose window is constrained by the need to have the assist features not print accidentally. An additional concern comes from shot noise winking. Sad smiley. 136. Sub-resolution assist features, SIFs, cause the required dose to be lower, so as not to print the assist features accidentally. 137. This results in fewer photons. Defining smaller features, see discussion in section on shot noise. As SIFs are smaller features than primary features and are not supposed to receive doses high enough to print, they are more susceptible to stochastic dose variations, causing printing errors. 138. This is particularly prohibitive for EUV, where even when the primary feature is printed at 80 mj/cm2, the SRAF suffers from stochastic printing. Source mask optimization. Pitch effect on SMO. SMO carried out gated for one pitch may have varying performance for other pitches. Due to the effects of non-telecentricity, standard illumination pupil shapes, such as disc auricula, are not sufficient to be used for feature sizes of ~20 nm or below, 10 nm node and beyond. 74. Instead, certain parts of the pupil, often over 50%, must be asymmetrically excluded. The parts to be excluded depend on the pattern. In particular, the densest allowed lines need to be aligned along one direction and prefer a dipole shape. For this situation, double exposure lithography would be required for 2D patterns, due to the presence of both X and Y-oriented patterns, each requiring its own 1D pattern mask and dipole orientation. 139, 140. There may be 200-400 illuminating points, each contributing its weight half the dose to balance the overall image through focus. Thus the shot noise effect, to be discussed later, critically affects the image position through focus. In a large population of features. Double or multiple patterning would also be required if a pattern consists of sub-patterns which require significantly different optimized illuminations, due to different pitches, orientations, shapes, and sizes. Impact of slit position and aberrations. Largely due to the slit shape, 91, and the presence of residual aberrations, 141. The effectiveness of SMO varies across slit position. 142, 80H slit position. There are different aberrations, 105, and different azimuthal angles of incidence leading to different shadowing. 34. Consequently, there could be uncorrected variations across slit for aberration sensitive.
Yes, I need a short break. Need to go to bathroom. It's 11:30. I will continue reading. The video splits in 30 seconds. I need a bathroom break and motor drink. But this is super complicated. This technology is super complicated, and I not understand most of it, but I would like to read it anyway. But I need a short break, 10 minutes.